to do. And sometimes I can recall when the Lord has told me many times, just don't talk. And I can, there's be slow to speak, guard your mouth in front of a wicked person. In Ezekiel, he says, I was made dumb or I couldn't speak. Because remember, the Lord spoke few, but when he spoke, it carried volume and value. So this is why I always say, when someone's rebellious, guard your mouth in front of a wicked person. When someone's in rebellion and, or if like they're gossiping, that's why I speak of demonic networks or demonically influenced behavior. Sometimes the things they speak of, that's why I say the tongue is crafty, native of your father, the devil, or emotional mental witchcraft. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. It's not what goes in a man that defiles him, what comes out. But you do have to filter what goes in, because it could change your view and perspective in this fallen world. Just like the things that went into your heart, what you've succumbed to, the disappointments, the failures, and now that's where your greatest wisdom comes from. So I'm going to read something. It says, what does the worker gain from his struggles? I have seen the tasks of that God has given the children of Adam to keep them occupied. He has made everything appropriate in its time. He has also put eternity into their hearts. But no one can discover the work God has done from the beginning to end. I know that there is nothing better for them to rejoice and enjoy a good life. It is also the gift of God whenever anyone eats, drinks, enjoys all his efforts. I know that everything God does will last forever. There is nothing adding to it or taking from it. God works so that people will be in awe of him. Whatever he has already been and whatever will be already is. God seeks justice for the persecuted. I also observed under the sun there is wickedness in the place of judgment, and there is wickedness in the place of righteousness. I said to myself, God will judge the righteous and the wicked. Since there is time for every activity and every work, I said to myself, this happens so that God may test the children, and that he may for themselves, they are like animals. For the fate of the children and the fate of the animals is the same. Adam and the fate of animals is the same. As one dies, so does the other. They all have the same breath. People have no advantage over animals since everything is futile. All are going to the same place. All come from dust and all return. Who knows that the spirit of the children that go upward and the spirits of the animals go downward to the earth? I have seen that there is nothing better than for a person to enjoy the activities, because that is his reward, for who is enabled him to see what happens after he dies. Again, I observed all the acts of oppression being done under the sun. Look at the tears of those who are oppressed. They have no one to comfort them. Power is with those who oppress them, because they have it in their hands. See, these oppressors of humanity, when the wicked rule, the righteous suffer. He says they oppress them because the power is in their hands. They have no one to comfort them. I commanded them of the dead who have already died, more than living who are still alive. But better than either of them is as no one has not yet existed, who has not seen the evil activity that is done under the sun. Remember, Satan, the God of this world, we live in a fallen world. All the evil activity that is done under the sun. The loneliness of the wealth. I saw that all labor and all skillful workers due to one person's jealousy of another. The two is futile and pursued in the wind. The fool folds his arms and consumes his own flesh. The fool folds his arms. Think about that statement. Arrogancy. Better one handful with rest than two handfuls with effort and a pursuit of the wind. Again, I saw futility under the sun. There is a person without a companion, without even a son or a brother, though there is no end to all his struggles, no support system. His eyes are still not content with riches. What does the profit a person to gain the world and lose his soul? He's empty inside, void. Who am I struggling for, he asks, and depriving myself of these good things? This too is futile and a miserable task. Two are better than one because they have good reward for their efforts. For if either fails, his companion can lift him up, but pity on the one who falls without another to lift him up. Also, if two lie down together, they can keep warm. But how can one person alone keep warm? And if someone overpowers one person, two can resist him. A cord of these strands is not easily broken. Better is a poor but wise youth than an old foolish king kings of this earth set up counsel against the Lord. I set up kings, I remove kings. Better is a poor but wise youth than an old foolish king that no longer pays attention to warnings. They don't pay attention to God's warnings. For he came from prison to be king, even though he was born poor into this kingdom. I saw all the living who move about under the sun follow a second youth who succeeds him. There is no limit to all the people who were before them, yet those who come latter will rejoice in him. Those too futile to pursue in the wind. Guard your steps when you go to the house of God. Better to approach in obedience than to offer the sacrifices fools do, for they ignorantly do wrong. Do not be hasty to speak. Do not be impulsive to make a speech before God. God is in heaven and you are on earth. So let your words be few. Your words be few. Slow to speak. Guard your mouth. Many times the Lord says this. That's why he tells us the tongue is the untamable evil. Everything that comes from a man flows out of him. You know them by their fruit. Just as dreams accompany much labor, so also fool's voice comes from with many words. Remember, this is when people would tell me, you're ignoring me. No, I just expose the unfruitful works of darkness. I choose the conversations I withhold or maintain or obtain or sustain, because sometimes your power over a wicked person or the wicked world is walking away, saying no, not participating. I don't gossip. I don't foolish conversations. He says that. When you make a vow to God, don't delay fulfilling it, because he does not delight in fools. Fulfill what you vow. Better that you do not vow than your mouth bring guilt on you. See, your own mouth can stumble you. That's why I talk about your tongue is native of your father, the devil. You craft yourself and you craft others. You shut the heavens for yourself, nor do you let others enter in. Do not let your mouth bring guilt on you, and do not say in the presence of the messenger that it was a mistake. Why should God be angry with your words and destroy the work of your hands? For many dreams bring futility. Do many words therefore fear God? If you see oppression of the poor and perversion of justice and righteousness in the province, don't be astonished at the situation, because one official protects another official, and higher officials protect themselves. They profit from the land is taken by all. They see the oppressors of humanity. The king is served by the field. Beast of the field. The kings of this earth, they're served by the beasts of their field. That's why I told you, I see this world is under the power of the wicked one. The one who loves silver is never satisfied with silver, and whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with income. This is too futile. When good things increase, the one who consumes them multiply. What then is it profit to the owner, except to gaze at them with his eyes? The sleep of the worker is sweet, whether he eats little or much. But the abundance of the rich permits him no sleep. Always working, vain, working for things that have no value or meaning. There is a sickening tragedy I've seen under the sun. Wealth kept by its owner to his harm. That wealth was lost in a bad venture, so when he fathered a son, he was empty-handed. As he came from his mother's womb, so he will go again. Naked as he came, he will take nothing for his efforts that he carry into his hands. So what is it all for? It's in vain. It says, they will throw their silver and gold in the streets on the day of the Lord, and none will save them. It will be treated as an unclean thing, because of what you've fed the world, not your spirit. The one who gains struggles for the wind. What is more, he eats in darkness all his days, with his frustrations, his sickness, his anger. Here is what I have seen to be good. It is appropriate to eat, drink, and experience good in all the labor one does under the sun during the few days of his life that he is given by God. Furthermore, everyone to whom God has given riches and wealth, he has also allowed him to enjoy them. Take his reward and rejoice in his labor. This is a gift of God, but for if he does not often consider the days of his life, because God keeps him occupied with the joy of his heart. Here's the tragedy. I have observed under the sun and his ways heavily on humanity. God gives a person riches, wealth, and honor so that he lacks nothing of all his desires for himself, but God does not allow him to enjoy them. Instead, a stranger will enjoy them. The riches of the wealthy are stored up for the righteous. This is a futile and sickening tragedy. A man may father 100 children and live many years. No matter how long he lives, if he is not satisfied by good things and is not satisfied in good things and does not even have a proper burial, I say that a stillborn child is better off than he. For he comes in futility and he goes in darkness, and his name is shrouded in darkness. Though a stillborn child does not see the sun and is not conscious, it has more rest than he. And if a person lives 1,000 years twice, but does not experience happiness, I just told someone the other day, you can't buy happiness. And it's not in things, and it's not in people. It's something you find within. And he does not experience happiness. Do not both go to the same place? All of a person's labor is for his stomach, yet the appetite is never satisfied. What advantage then does the wise person have over the fool? What advantage is there for the poor person who knows how to conduct himself before others? Better what the eye see than wandering desires. This too is futile in the pursuit of the wind. Whatever exists was given its name long ago, and is known what mankind is. But he is not able to contend with the one stronger than he. For when there is many words that increase futility, what is the advantage for mankind? For who knows what is good for anyone in life, in the few days of the futile life that he spends like a shadow? Who can tell anyone what will happen after him under the sun? A good name is better than a fine perfume, and the day of one's death is better than the day of one's birth. It is better to go to a house of mourning than to go to a house of feasting. See, people always tell me I'm depressed when I came to the Lord. No, it's mourning and sackcloth that you go into. With much wisdom comes great sorrow, because you know this world is all vain. The pride of life, you know it's all vanity. Since then, the end of all mankind and the living should take it to heart. Grief is better than laughter, for when a face is sad, a heart may be glad. You humble yourself, your humility. The heart of the wise is in the house of the mourning, but the heart of a fool is in the house of pleasure. It is better to listen to rebuke from a wise person than to listen to the song of fools. For like the crackling of burning thorns under the pot, so it is laughter of the fool. This too is futile. Surely the practice of extortion turns a wise person into a fool, and a bribe corrupts the mind. Remember, the elite take on burdensome loans that put burdensome loans on others, but never touch those burdens themselves. They take a bribe for money. He called them money exchangers. They hire cunning men. That's what he's referring to. The end of the matter is better than its beginning. A patient spirit is better than a proud spirit. Pride and humility is the verses each other. Don't let your spirit rush to be angry, for anger abides in the hearts of fools. Don't say, why were the former days better than these? Since it is not wise of you to ask this. Wisdom is as an inheritance and an advantage to those who see the sun, because wisdom is protection and silver is protection. But the advantage of knowledge is the wisdom that preserves life of its owner. With much wisdom comes great sorrow. See, that's why I tell you about a true prophet and a false prophet. They have wisdom and knowledge. One's doing it, has given you the words to better your life, and one's doing it to better his own. Consider the work of God, for who can straighten out what he has made crooked? In the day of prosperity be joyful, but in the day of adversity consider. God has made the one as well as the other, so that no one can discover anything that will come after him. In my futile life I have seen everything. Someone righteous perishes in spite of his righteousness. Someone wicked lives long in spite of his evil. Don't be excessively righteous and don't be overly wise. Why should you destroy yourself? Don't be excessively wicked and don't be foolish. Why should you die before your time? It is good that you grasp one from the other and do not let the other slip from your hand. For when the one fears God, and will end up with both of them. Wisdom makes the wise person stronger, and 10 rulers of a city. There is a certainty that no one righteous on this earth who does good can never sins. Don't pay attention to everything people say, or you may hear your servant cursing you. For in your heart you know that many times yourself have cursed others. Don't be a liar to yourself. I have tested all this by wisdom. I resolved I will be wise, but it was beyond me. What exists is beyond reach and very deep. Who can discover it? I turn my thoughts to know, explore, and examine wisdom and explanation for things, and to know that wickedness is a stupidity and folly is madness, and I find more bitter than death. The woman who is a trap, her heart net, and her hands of chains. The one who pleases God will escape her, like the Jezebel spirit. The one who pleases God, modesty, humility, that person will escape her. Look, says the teacher, I have discovered this by adding one thing to another to find out the explanation. which my soul continually searches for but does not find. I found one person in 1,000, but none of those was a woman. Only see this, I have discovered that God made people upright, but they pursued many schemes. Who is like this wise people? Who knows the temptations or interpretations of a matter? A person's wisdom brightens his face, and the sternness of his face is changed. Keep the king's commands because of your oath made before God. Do not be in a hurry, leave his presence, and didn't persist a bad cause, since he will do whatever he wants. People love creature more than their creator. For the king's words is authoritative, and who could say to him, "What are you doing?" The one who keeps commands will not experience anything harmful. And a wise heart knows the right time and procedure. For every activity there is a right time and procedure. Even though a person's troubles are heavy on him, yet no one knows that will happen, because no one can tell what will happen. No one has the authority in the wind to restrain it, and there is no authority in the day of death. No one is discharged during battle, and wickedness will not allow those who practice it to escape. When the wicked rule, the righteous suffer. That's why they call them dark rulers. Babylon trusted in her own wisdom. Her sorcerers can't save her. All this I have seen, applying my mind to all the work that is done under the sun, and at a time when a person has authority over another person to his harm. Ruling spirits, controlling spirits. In such circumstances, I saw the wicked buried. They came and went from the holy place, and they were praised in the city where they did those things. They want idol worship. Like you see these people with money, they want you to idolize them. So they were praised in the city where they did those things. This too is futile, because the sentence against the evil act is not carried out quickly. The heart of people is filled with desires to commit evil. Although a sinner does evil 1,000 times and prolongs his life, I also know that it will go well with God-fearing people, for they are reverent. However, it will not go well with wicked, and they will not lengthen their days like a shadow, for they are not reverent before God. There is a futility that is done on this earth. There are righteous people who get what the actions of the wicked deserve, and there are wicked people who get what the actions of the righteous deserve. I say this too is futile, undeserving. So I commended enjoyment, because there is nothing better for one person under the sun to eat, drink, and enjoy himself, for this will accompany him in his labor during the days of his life, and God gives him under the sun. When I apply my mind to know wisdom and to observe the activity that is done on this earth, even though one's eyes do not close to sleep day or night, I observe all the work of God and concluded that a person is unable to discover his work that is done under the sun, even though a person labors hard to explore it and he cannot find it, forever learning and never coming to the truth. Even if a wise person claims to know, he is unable to discover it because he lies to himself. Have a blessed day.